I was 8 years old the first time I saw the house on Stillwater Road. It was a gray, drizzly autumn afternoon. My dad had just started a new job as a land surveyor for the county, which meant long hours and dusty maps. One day, while scanning drone footage of the woods behind our new neighborhood, he called me into his home office with a strange look on his face. "Check this out," he said, rewinding the footage. The drone had been flying over dense, untouched forest, until it caught something. A narrow, overgrown trail, barely visible through the canopy, winding deep into the woods. At the end of it was a clearing. And in the middle of the clearing stood a house. 2 stories tall. Faded blue wood. Victorian trim, rotting at the edges. Shutters crooked like broken teeth. It looked like something out of a nightmare, a place that didn't want to be seen, but somehow was. It wasn't on any map, no records, no tax history, nothing. My dad muttered something about a cartographic anomaly, but I saw it in his eyes, he was unsettled. Still, he shrugged it off. "Probably just some old hunting cabin," he said. "These woods are full of weird stuff." But I noticed something else. When he played the video back again, I caught a flicker, a figure, just for a single frame, standing in one of the windows. Still. Too tall. No face. Just a black silhouette. "See that?" I asked. He squinted. Rewound. Paused. Nothing. Probably just a glitch. Compression error. But he never flew that drone again. Weeks passed. I couldn't stop thinking about that house. I'd ride my bike to the edge of the forest and stare in. The trees there were different, denser, darker, quieter. Birds didn't sing near them. Even our dog, Rex, refused to go close. He'd stop at the tree line, growl low in his throat, and back away with his tail between his legs. At night, I'd dream of the house. Always the same. I was standing at the edge of the clearing, looking up at the second-floor window. And something, was watching me from behind the glass. Then, the knocking started. 3 slow knocks. Always at 2:14 a.m. Always on my second-floor window. I tried to wake Dad. He said it was just branches, maybe an owl. But the window was clean, no trees near it. No way for anyone to reach it from the outside. Still, every night for a week, I'd hear it. Knock. 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 Then silence. And then, one night, it stopped. I thought it was over. Maybe I imagined it all. Maybe it was just a kid's mind twisting shadows into ghosts. But that morning, Dad didn't come down for breakfast. His car was still in the driveway. His wallet and keys were on the kitchen counter. The front door was unlocked. He was gone. No note. No signs of struggle. Just gone. The police searched for days. Drones, dogs, volunteers combed the forest. Nothing. It was as if the earth had swallowed him whole. I told them about the house. About the knocking. The shadow in the window. They didn't listen. Said grief plays tricks on the mind. But I knew. I knew he'd gone into the woods. I waited until midnight that night. I packed a flashlight, a compass, and Dad's old hunting knife. Rex whined when I stepped outside, but I didn't stop. I walked to the edge of the forest, heart pounding, air thick like syrup. The path was there, faint but real, just like in the footage. I stepped into the trees. The temperature dropped instantly. Every footstep sounded like thunder in the silence. No crickets. No wind. Just the dull crackle of leaves beneath my boots and my own ragged breath. The deeper I went, the heavier the air felt, like it didn't want me there. I followed the path for what felt like hours, until I saw it. The house. It looked just like the footage, maybe worse. The wood was grayer, flaking like ash. The roof sagged. Vines clung to the siding like veins. And that window. The second floor one, slightly open, curtain swaying as if something had just moved away from it. The front door creaked open on its own. I stepped inside. The air smelled like rot and mildew. The walls were lined with faded photographs, black and white portraits of people with scratched out faces. Furniture was covered in sheets. The floorboards groaned under my weight, as if the house were alive and protesting. Then I heard it. 3 knocks. Not on the window. This time, on the basement door. I froze. The basement door was directly ahead, half hidden in the shadow beneath the staircase. The knocking came again, slower this time. Knock. 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 The door handle turned, creaking, but didn't open. I tightened my grip on the knife. My flashlight flickered, casting nervous beams across the peeling wallpaper and warped floorboards. I took a step closer. "Dad," I whispered. No answer. I reached the door, heart rattling in my chest, and pulled it open. A cold gust of air blew out, carrying a sharp, metallic scent, like rust, or dried blood. The flashlight beam barely pierced the darkness below. The stairs creaked as I descended. Each step groaned like a warning. At the bottom, concrete floor. Walls stained with moisture. Shelves lined with jars filled with things I couldn't, and didn't want to, identify. Old toys. Bone fragments. A child's shoe. And then I saw it. A shape slumped in the far corner. It looked like a person at first. But as I stepped closer, my stomach twisted. The figure was wrong. Too thin. Its limbs were too long, joints bent at impossible angles. And the head, its face was covered in old cloth, stitched tightly, like a sack. It was breathing, shallow and wet, like wind through a broken flute. When I got within a few feet, it turned toward up the stairs, down the hall, out the front door, into the woods, branches slashing my arms and face as I sprinted back through the trees. I didn't stop until I collapsed in my backyard, gasping for air. But I didn't tell anyone. Because the next morning, my dad was back. He was standing in the kitchen, frying eggs, smiling like nothing had happened. Except, it wasn't him. He looked the same, sounded the same, but he was wrong. His eyes were too wide. He didn't blink enough. He called me buddy, which my dad never did. And he didn't remember anything about his job, or our old house, or my birthday. At night, I'd hear him whispering to himself in the living room. Words I didn't recognize, low, harsh syllables that made my skin crawl. I once woke up to find him standing over my bed, just staring. He smiled. Went back to his room like nothing happened. Weeks passed. I tried to act normal, go to school, eat dinner, pretend everything was okay. But I started seeing them, reflections that didn't match my movements, shadows that lingered longer than they should. One day, I found a small box hidden in the attic. Inside was a folded map, hand-drawn, old and fragile. It showed the forest, the path, the house. But there were symbols drawn around the house, circles, crosses, and one word written over and over in the margins. Keep closed. There was also a photo. Black and white. A family of 4 standing in front of the house. But their eyes were burned out of the photo, literally scorched holes. One of them looked like my dad. That night, I asked him directly, "Where were you when you disappeared?" He blinked. Slowly. "I never left, buddy. I found the house." He paused. Then smiled, wide, unnatural. "No one finds the house. The house finds you." I barely slept. The knocking came back, now from inside the walls. I'd wake up with dirt under my nails, even though I hadn't been outside. My dreams were full of the basement thing, twitching, whispering my name in a wet voice. One night, I woke up standing at the edge of the forest. Barefoot. No coat. Freezing. The trail was ahead of me again, clear now, like it was inviting me back. I turned and ran. The next morning, the house on Stillwater Road was back on the drone footage. But now, it looked different. It had changed. There were new rooms. New windows. A second chimney. Like it was growing. Worse, more figures appeared in the windows now. Watching. Waiting. I showed my teacher. The counselor. Even the police. They all said the same thing, "There's nothing there." But they were wrong. Because the house wasn't in the woods anymore. It was moving. It started showing up in dreams, friends, neighbors, strangers. They'd come to school looking pale, eyes sunken, mumbling about the blue house with the red door. Then they'd disappear for a few days. When they came back, They weren't the same. Something was spreading. One by one, the town changed. People moved slower, smiled too wide, stared too long, and no one seemed to notice, except me. Until one night, I saw it. The house. Standing at the end of my street. I tried to run, pack a bag, leave town. But no road led out. Every highway turned back on itself. Every gas station was empty. The town had become a maze, and the center of it was the house. I don't know how much longer I have. The sky has turned the color of old bruises. The birds don't fly anymore. My reflection watches me even when I look away. There's a knock at the front door. 3 slow knocks. 2:14 a.m. This time, I think I have to open it. I think it's already inside.